Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Ray Cline, one of the founders of TKW. Earlier we talked to Brandon Weber. And Ray, just tell us about Ray.
Sure. So my name is Ray Cline, one of the founders of TKW, owner of Libertas Consulting, MSP in the Philadelphia area. Been doing this a very long time. And happy that we started a community a couple years back that can bring and do wonderful things together and meet amazing people like you.
Well, I was saying to Brandon earlier how unique what we're doing is. And it's important, too, because our industry is suffering.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah, it's suffering, but we could go on and on with that. But let's talk about text giving. Let's talk about the whole idea and the premise behind it. And our 2024 recipient, La Escuelita Bilingual Preschool. I've had a chance to talk to some of the wonderful people here, but I know giving back is near and dear to your heart as it is mine. So talk to us about that.
So, text giving started 5 years ago. This is technically our fifth project. Third is TKW, but my fifth project running community projects like this. The first project was a museum in the Philadelphia area in my neighborhood, and it was called Craven Hall. And it was basically, the idea behind it was I was on the board of the local Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. And the gentleman, his name was Eric, was part of the Chamber of Commerce as well. And, it came up in one of the meetings. He's like, I need to put cameras in and I want to be able to draw in a younger crowd. And, there's all these things that we want to do from a technology standpoint, but we can't because we're in a 200-plus-year-old farmhouse, right? Is where this museum was. So I said, let me think about how I can help with that project. And this brainchild came together and I started reaching out to people in the community. And, Stephen Clenner was one of the original people that was with me at that time. So was Justin Turpin, who was here both of the guys were here for this project. And we got together, and Vertical Cable and Cable Connections helped us get all the supplies we needed for that facility, 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that idea took off, and then we continued doing it year after year. And it's just gotten bigger every year. And we've got more people coming every year because it's something that makes you feel good for everything you did.
Yeah.
And that's really the main reason why we do it. But at the end of the day, like, you get to work with guys from all around the world that have all different skill sets. Yeah. And it's just so much fun, man. It's so much fun being able to work with you and, work with, our vendors, Cable and Connections and Vertical Cable, like, they're physically on site with us. Trend is on site with us. Asa Abloy is here. Yeah. So it's like, not only do we have the manufacturers physically here doing the work with us, giving us their know-how, telling us about their products, but they're literally in the actual trenches with us doing the work.
And that's the part that I really like, man. We all have our own businesses or whatever, but I like it the way we work together.
Yeah.
How, hey, where you need me, man? What do I need to do? How can I help?
Yep.
And when you have a group of people that share that desire to really give back, it makes it so much more fun. Now, of course, we always encounter obstacles, but it's so much different encountering them here than if you're out on one of your regular job sites and all. It's like, oh man, but here it's like, okay, no problem. We'll work our way around it.
Yeah, and it's honestly, it's because you look at it, we've got people with different skill sets. So, if we run into a problem in our businesses or on a job, we have to do all the thought process, right? We've got to do the troubleshooting and thinking about it. Here, it's just like, okay, wait a minute. Dan Abston or Dan Higdon, I guarantee those guys have already ran into this problem. So let's go ask them how to get through this problem. And they can help us through it.
Yeah.
So we're all learning from and teaching each other.
Yeah.
It's cool.
The beauty of it for me is meeting these guys and their willingness to just help. A lot of times people can't get past competition.
Yep.
And I love our community over competition.
Yep.
I can call any of these guys in TKW with a question, and they will call back, they will respond. If they don't know the answer, they'll help me get it. We call on each other in different areas to help each other out. We come together on projects to help each other. That's not how the normal and average people do things.
No.
And that's the beauty of it for me, for being a part of TKW, man. It's just been so awesome. And of course we can tell them, but share with them why it's important that they should look to be involved in something like this.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a few reasons, right? I mean, obviously, you've got our Slack community where, if you're looking at trying to learn a skill or you're on a job and you need help, we're all each other's technical support, right? And you said that, you kind of hit on that. But it's also, you get to come on site and be a part of these events and share your knowledge with other people. You get to really feel a sense of community. There's a lot of people in our group that are one-man shows or two-man shows. They don't really have that IT department, right?
Right.
So now you're part of a community that really is your team.
Yeah.
That you can call upon. It doesn't matter when you said, any part of the day. If you need help with something, there is somebody in our community that has either done it before or can walk you through that problem.
That's right.
So now your team is no longer that team of one or two. It's a team of hundreds.
Right.
And it's a team of, hundreds that have years and years of experience in this industry.
Yeah.
And, community over competition, it's a slogan, it's a hashtag, it's our mantra.
Yeah,
like at the end of the day,
it is.
We are proving, and our vendors that are a part of our community and our members that are a part of our community realize we don't just say it to say it. It's not lip service.
That's
like
right.
Legitimately, we are growing people's businesses through community over competition. You look at people like, Pierce Smithwick routinely hires multiple people in our community to go do
I've
jobs.
done work for Pierce.
Yeah. Ryan, I think at this point, Ryan, who we're here to, do this project with, has probably hired almost everybody in this community at one point or another to do something.
Right.
Abe Brown has got guys all over the place, all from this community. And it's, I don't give him enough credit, but Carlos,
Yes.
who is here with us, has probably worked for 6 or 7 people in this community.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the people that are utilizing and that are active within our community and are utilizing the community, not just coming in and posting things for sale and not just coming in and using us as a jobs board. You look at the people that show up to these projects and show up to our events and show up to our meetups, their businesses are growing.
Yeah.
Because they're able to have resources in other locations with guys that they can trust. I know if I call Carlos tomorrow and said, hey man, I picked up a contract in California. Can you go run some cable for me? I wouldn't have to worry about it.
That's right.
I just know that it would be done to the standard
Right.
that we all hold ourselves to because he's literally been in data closets with me, doing the work with me. I could send Ryan on a job or I could send you on a job and I know that the work would be great. I don't even have to second guess it.
Right.
And you don't get that unless you come to these things.
That's right.
And you spend time with these guys.
Yeah. And I think that's important. And for me, it's just been great, man. The knowledge. I come to these things, man, and sometimes I don't know anything.
Yeah.
That's the mindset because I can learn so much. And the willingness of everybody to just, hey man, what do you need?
Yep.
Give me a call if you have this issue. I had, and I can't think of it now, one of the guys from California, he had a customer out there that he had done a bunch of work for over the years. Well, that customer was a doctor, relocated to my neck of the woods.
Okay.
And he went on Slack and said, hey, anybody know anybody in Norfolk area? And we connected and all of that. And I actually went and did the work for his customer.
That's great.
He was like, I'm not looking for, he needs to have somebody locally there.
Yep.
And he had to have confidence that I could keep that standard. But if we know you're part of TKW, then that standard should be there.
Yep.
And in most cases it is,
yep.
But it's just been, I can't tell you. And it's so funny that, I've gotten to meet you because I grew up in your backyard.
I know. Isn't that great? You really think about that.
Crazy.
Man. Yeah, man.
But it's been great. And Ray, I just want to tell you, man, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to more and more. I'm not missing TechFest next year.
So TechFest, I appreciate that. TechFest is we've had 2 so far, right? We did the first one. Cable and Connections was gracious enough to give us their facility. We did it at theirs. Then we went down to Nashville last year at the Gaylord Opryland, and we're doing it again in mid-April. Mm-hmm. And this year's TechFest, we've learned from the last 2 the things that work for our community and things that don't. And stay tuned to your podcast. Your listeners should stay tuned to your podcast and stay tuned to TKW's because what we're doing at TechFest next year, I'm so excited about.
Cool.
And I'll give you a little hint. So we have realized that hands-on learning is what this community wants and what we need.
Yes.
Trade shows are a dime a dozen.
Right.
You can go to a million different trade shows, right?
That's right.
But how many trade shows can you go to where the vendors are putting on actual live demonstrations.
Yeah.
And where they're putting the product in your hands and saying, this is how we're going to do it. And this is how we're going to integrate it. So just a little tidbit of what we're doing coming up.
It's
So
exciting.
TechFest next year is going to be something nobody's ever seen before.
And I'm going to be really, really more vocal about sharing with people what we do. One of my clients now, we were talking and I was sharing with him that I was coming here. He's like, oh, really? What's going on? You going to a football game? I said, no. And I explained it to him. He's like, yeah, you did that last year. I said, yeah, we were in Baltimore. And I really started telling him, he said, well, look, when you get back, let's sit down and talk and see what we can do to help you guys. I mean, maybe we'll even come where you are and
it's amazing.
lend a hand. And what I realize is what we're doing is unique. People aren't used to seeing people come together and work like this without any ulterior motive.
Yep. It's special, man. And you know, and I use the word a lot, humbled, but I mean it. I am truly humbled by you, by all the people that are here. Like, this stuff doesn't happen without having other like-minded individuals that see that there is really, really a need and a lot of good can come from what we're doing. You know, this La Escuelita, like, just seeing the kids come into the school, knowing that a lot of these kids that come into the school don't speak English, and they're learning English in preschool. Right. And what we're giving them with all of the audiovisual, with, you know, the network backbones, with the security, we're protecting them, and we're really helping these kids grow at the most, like, impressionable times of their lives. So it's knowing that it's a great feeling. But, you know, but we all get to work together, right? I love working with you guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know. Sure, we go out to eat, you know, people have fun or whatever, but we're, as I like to say, about our business.
Oh yeah.
When we get here, we know we got a certain amount of time to give these people a complete technological makeover.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Brandon about this earlier. I hadn't really thought about it. Not only are we giving them more up-to-date technology so the kids can learn better, but we're also giving them security that they know their doors are secure. They have cameras that can see things. For me, man, walking away from this, I'm like, this is cool. Look what we were able to do. And we'll move on to the next one next year. But when you look back to see how many lives we were able to affect and change, man, it is humbling.
Right.
And I'm just so excited. I'm just glad that I don't even remember. Well, I remember we were doing something a different way a few years ago. Then it changed over to Teknowledge. I don't even remember how I initially got involved, but I am so glad I did.
And we're all glad you're here too.
I'm so glad I did.
It's you know, meeting you and meeting your wife at one of the events, and that's the other thing too. It's like, you know, you look around. It's our families are coming to these events now too, right? You know, your wife has been to one, and you know, if you look around, there's 5 or 6 wives and girlfriends of significant others. And you know, significant others of people that were here. Like, now they're getting in on it, right? So now you've got people that know nothing about technology. That are like, you know, we want to come. What can we do? And
it's funny. My wife just said to me the other day. I said, you know, I didn't go to Nashville this year because we were so busy, but I'm going to plan to go next year. Her first words, I'm going with you.
I love it. And that's great, man.
And she'll tell me, hey, tell Ray I said hello.
And the same, man.
Kind of thing.
I hope she's doing well.
And she is. And it's just, we're more like a family. And that's what it comes down to. But Ray, thank you so much for taking a few minutes.
I appreciate you.
We appreciate you. And I look forward to TKW growing leaps and bounds. Man, and going, just creating a standard that other people will just say, man, and they can glean from us.